Hi guys, it's Deck Kitten here, and today I'm going to be showing you my Fluffal deck profile. So, this is for Master Rule 4, but with a few changes it should work well with the new Master Rule that's coming out later this year. So, let's get right into it. So, first of all, I play 3 copies of Fluffal Dog. Fluffal Dog, when it's normal or special summoned, you get to search Fluffal or Edge Imp Sabres, and that's a hard once per turn. Fluffal Dog's a really good card. You need to be playing 3 copies of it. It's one of the staple cards of the deck. If you see it in your opening hand, you'll be able to get some of your main combos off. Next, I play 3 copies of Fluffal Bear. Fluffal Bear, you can discard it to set Toy Vendor directly from your deck, which is pretty cool. And then that's the effect that's used the most, and then you contribute it to get a poly back from your grave to your hand, but that's not used very often. And then 3 copies of Fluffal Wings. Fluffal Wings has a good combo with Fluffal Bear. What you do is you use Fluffal Bear to get your Toy Vendor, then you use Fluffal Wings with Toy Vendor's effect. You might get a free special summon, you may not. Then you use Fluffal Wings effect, which says if it's in your graveyard you control Toy Vendor. You banish it from your graveyard, then target a Fluffal monster in your graveyard. That'll be Fluffal Bear. Banish it, and if you do draw a card, then you send the Toy Vendor and draw a card. And when Toy Vendor is sent, you get to search an Edge Imp Sabres or a Fluffal. Next, this is a bit of a controversial one amongst Fluffal players, but I play 3 copies of Fluffal Penguin. I played it in my local tournament last night, and it worked really well, especially when I got it in the hand with Fluffal Dog, because I got to normal summon Fluffal Penguin, then I got to special summon Fluffal Dog for free, and then Fluffal Dog's effect to search. Then I will link into Lamphorhynchus or summon Fluffal Sheep, and then go on my combo with all my extra deck monsters. Next up, I have 3 copies of Edge Imp Chain. This is, I play 2 Edge Imps in the deck, Edge Imp Chain, because it actually has a good effect on Edge Imp Sabres, but Edge Imp Chain says, so when he attacks you can add Edge Imp Chain from deck to hand, but he won't be attacking, your big Fright Furs will be attacking. And if he's sent from the hand or field to graveyard, you can add a Fright Fur card from deck to hand, which is really useful for getting some of your main cards like Fright Fur Fusion, which is used to get the OTK, and Fright Fur Patchwork, which is used to search out some key cards in the deck. Next up, I'm playing 3 King of the Swamp, because this discards to search poly, and it also acts as any named fusion material on the card, which is useful for cards which require Edge Imp Chain, because I've already used my Edge Imp Chain with the Fright Fur Fusion, but then he destroyed one of my monsters. I can use King of the Swamp as Edge Imp Chain, and also, because I need polymerization in this deck, it helps me get my poly, so I'm effectively playing 6 copies of it, which is good. I'm playing 2 copies of Fluffal Sheep. I played 1 last night, but after a bit of testing this morning, I've decided the 2 copies is the best way to go, because it's a free special summon, it's not once per turn, and hard once per turn you can return a Fluffal monster to hand and special an Edge Imp from hand or graveyard. Now you probably won't want to use that one all that much, but sometimes to special summon your Edge Imp Sabres from the graveyard, so say you can just use a normal poly to fusion summon a tiger or something. One-offs, Edge Imp Sabres, his effect's really bad. All he does is, if he's in the graveyard, you can place a card from your hand on top of the deck, special in defense position. But the reason you have to play him because a lot of the fusion monsters require Edge Imp Sabres, like Tiger Wolf requires Edge Imp Sabres. And they're the main 2 cards I'm going to be using, so it's very important to at least have 1. And lots of cards search Edge Imp Sabres or Edge Imp cards, which is good. Fluffal Owl, only play 1 of him, because you probably won't want to see him in your opening hand, but if you need him, you can easily search him with Fluffal Dog or Toy Vendor or something like that. And so what he does, when he's normal or special summoned, you can add poly from deck to hand, and you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a Fright Fur using like the poly materials hand or field. and you can only use one of his effects per turn, so that's a hard once per turn. But if you say your opponent has played an Imperial Order or something like that, you can like search your Fluffal Owl, and then you can use his effect, because even if this deck relies on spell effects a lot, but that's why you play Fluffal Owl, because say if your opponent stops spell effects from activating, you can still use Fluffal Owl to fusion summon your monsters. Finally, Fluffal Cat, when he uses a fusion material, you bring back a poly from your graveyard to your hand. He's really useful. You only have 3 polys, and you'll probably burn through all 3, 2 or 3 on your first turn, and you want to keep using them. So Fluffal Cat is just a really good card. You don't want to play more than one, because he doesn't have any immediate value. Like if you say played 3 and you got all 3 in your opening hand, you just wouldn't be able to play well. So I'll move these guys to the side. Let's get on to the spells. 3 copies of Toy Vendor. So Toy Vendor spell, continuous, once per turn, discard, draw a card and show it. If it's a Fluffal, you can special a monster from your hand. Note, you don't have to special the monster which you revealed, which is useful. Say you revealed a Fluffal Cat, but you also have a Fluffal Dog in your hand, you can special a Fluffal Dog, and then you still get a special summon. And otherwise you discard that. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add an Edge Imp Sabers or a Fluffal from deck to hand. And that's why we play 3 copies of Foolish Barrel Goods. You just want to use that to send your Toy Vendor from deck to graveyard to get the free search. 3 copies of Frightfur Patchwork, an Edge Imp and a Poly from deck to hand, and that's a hard once per turn. But it's very useful for, say you didn't draw Polymerization, or you need your Edge Imp Sabers and you have a perfect hand. Otherwise, you can just use your Frightfur Patchwork to search out some of those cards. Now 3 copies of Poly, 2 Frightfur Fusion. That's just banish fusion materials from field or graveyard for Frightfurs. 2 copies of Instant Fusion, and 1 copy of Frightfur Factory. This card is actually pretty good, because it lets you get basically double the use out of all your fusion spells, because you can just banish a fusion poly card or a fusion spell card from your graveyard to special a Frightfur fusion monster from your extra deck. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target banish Frightfur fusion and put it into your hand. So that's our main deck done. I now move on to the extra deck. So first of all, playing 2 copies of Frightfur Tiger. Important card. When it's fusion summoned, you can target cards in the field up to the number of fusion materials that was used and destroy them. So it's good for getting rid of some of your opponent's larger monsters. It's also, you can use Edge Imp Sabers and 1 or more Fluffal monsters. So say your opponent has 3 cards, you can just use Edge Imp Sabers and 2 Fluffals to get rid of those 3 cards. And then it also says all Frightfur monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffal and Frightfur you control, which is really good, because say you could only get 3 materials for your wolf, but you have the tiger, wolf, and another Fluffal. Your wolf can still OTK with the 3 materials because of Frightfur Tiger. You can only control 1 of him, but I still play 2 because you're probably going to get him into Sabertooth later on. Frightfur Kraken, I'll play 2 of, 1 Edge Imp plus 1 Fluffal. Once per turn, you can target a monster your opponent controls send to the graveyard, but it can't attack directly. That's really good because it doesn't say destroy, it just says send to the graveyard, so it makes it a better effect than cards which say destroy. And then you can attack twice each battle phase, and once per turn at the end of the battle phase, if you battle, you can change his defense position, which is good because his defense is really high unless you have something like a Frightfur Tiger. Frightfur Wolf, 2 of, he's the main OTK engine of the deck. Edge Imp Sabers plus 1 or more Fluffal monsters. He can attack a number of times his battle phase up to the number of fusion materials used for fusion summon. So if you've wiped your opponent's board, you want to use your Frightfur Fusion, get rid of 4 materials, he'll attack for 8,000 damage. That's game. He's the main OTK engine. He's really important, and I play 2 of them in case your first copy gets destroyed or taken control of or something. 2 Frightfur Sheep. That's our instant fusion targets in the extra deck. And Edge Imp plus 1 Fluffal. If he battles, your opponent's cards and effects can't be activated until the end of the damage step, which is quite good. And if he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special him, and if you do, it gains 800 attack, and that's once per turn. That's good, stops him from being destroyed. 2 Frightfur Sabertooth. The big boss monster, so you need a Frightfur Fusion monster and one or more Fluffal and Edgeimps. Fusion summoned, you can target a Frightfur monster in your graveyard, special summon it, so you basically get the Frightfur Fusion monster back. All Frightfurs you control gain 400 attack, and if it was fusion summoned using 3 or more fusion materials, can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, so if you have the spare materials, that's usually very useful to do. So that's all our fusion monsters in the extra deck. And now we just have 5 link monsters. We have generic link 2 Lamphorincus, just 2 monsters, 2 arrows. Have Decode Talker. We've got Borrello Dragon and Borrelsword Dragon. And then I also play Topologic Zero Boros to deal with some cards which like have anti-destruction effects or anti-targeting effects, which is like what's the name, Avramax. I used this to get rid of Avramax in the locals game last night, but it's really useful in this deck. And if you can get the 4 monsters, then you're going to wipe the board. What you do, you just play this. Then you could either instant fusion with your sheep, or you could just special sheep, or use Penguin's Effect to special Fluffal, or Toy Vendor to special Fluffal. That's extra deck. Side deck. It's not as detailed as the rest of the deck, but I play 1 Fluffal Octopus. Fluffal Octopus just says when he's normal special summoned, you can target a Fluffal or Edgeimp monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. If you send to the graveyard, fusion material for a fusion summon of Frightfur, you can target up to 2 banished monsters, return them to the graveyard, so that's good. If you say you use the Frightfur fusion, you can get back some of the materials. Fluffal Mouse. If you're like running low, you're not able to get enough Frightfurs, and you know your opponent doesn't have something, a powerful threat which can't be like destroyed, you'll probably, because this prevents you from summoning non-Frightfur monsters, you'll probably want to side him in place of like a cat or 1 sheep or something. But you either play 3 of him or 0 of him, and in my main deck I decided to play 0 of him. Monster Reborn, side deck Foolish Burial as well, in case they want to send Edgeimp Chain. 3 Twin Twisters, 3 Red Reboots, an Imperial Order, because remember we can still use the Owl, but if our opponent has a very spell focused deck, it will be difficult for them to come back. A Wire Tap and a Royal Decree. So, thanks for watching my Fluffal and Frightfur deck profile. Please like, comment and subscribe. Bye.